Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Known Classics. This is episode number 1687, and Doubleshot number 88, excuse me. Excuse me, 1688 and Doubleshot number 1582. I have one DC trade and one Dynamite trade. Yes, a Dynamite trade. You'll find what it is soon. First up, it is Superman Action Comics, Volume 4, Metropolis Burning. Yes, this is from the Brian Michael Bendis run for Action Comics. A run my friend Tivia hates. He hates this era of Superman. Oh boy, he hates this. I like this. So this one is basically the Year of the Villain tie-in. Because of course it is. This covers issues of Action Comics 1017 to 1021. By the way, after this one, there's one more trade left to go, and that's it for Bendis' run for Action Comics, and also for his run on Superman as a whole. Because I've already covered Man of Steel. I have covered his entire Superman, which is only in 4 trades. This actually is the only one collected in 5 trades. Yes, the primary thing with this one is that you have Superman, like, supposedly surrendering to Lex Luthor. Yeah, this is during a thing where a couple of years ago where he has this white, paley skin, where he was this, like, reborn thing done by the alien who was I think it's Permedia, I think her name is. Yeah, and of course they mentioned that we have a new owner of the Daily Planet, a woman named Lonnie. Yes, where she apparently, it's implied at this point in time she has some possible gangster ties. They don't really prove anything with it, and apparently the whole Daily Planet is done at her whim. And we have Robinson Goody, a reporter who is a Bendis character, who is also Red Cloud, by the way. And this is also still when Superman's identity is publicly known. Yep. That actually happened. Yes, at least this one was handled a lot better than what happened for Dark Truth storyline. Yes, when Superman's identity became publicly known, that was handled very poorly. This one has been handled a lot better because Superman's very open about it. He admits himself. It's not like a vengeful reporter who want to get back at some random bad guys. Though let's have Lois Lane out Superman as Superman, which in my opinion and other people's opinion, it was not a good idea to do that. The way Bendis did it, in my opinion, was a better idea. Have him do it himself. I don't know how my friend Timmy feels about it. He hasn't said anything else about it. Most of for this one, you have Red Cloud meeting Leviathan for the first time. Now, yes, Leviathan is a creation. Now, the identity is a creation of Bendis, but the character, Mark Shaw, is not. Those of you who forgot my event Leviathan review, which some people may have, Leviathan is Mark Shaw, a former Manhunter, who in this continuity, the last time he appeared was in the Cheetah one-shot for Villains Month. Yeah, that was his only appearance prior to him being revealed as Leviathan. Now, he's been around since the at least the early 70s. Yes, that's when he first showed up. That was also when the Manhunter robots first showed up. Yep. Yeah, apparently he was part of this cult that worshipped them. That's when he became a Manhunter. And most of it here, you have Superman being presented with a gift. Well, not Superman. You have basically the gift for Red Cloud is simply working with Leviathan, and then apparently like them turning against Lex. And of course, Superman tries repeatedly to surrender to Lex Luthor. And of course, Justice League shows up to help him out. We also have a guest appearance in here by the Young Justice team. Now, you're probably thinking, Nick, have you talked about the artwork yet? The artwork is done by John Mia Jr., an artist I'm not really big on his artwork. Now, when he came back, this actually was the first time since his brief run on Superman back in 2014 that he actually came back to the book. Yeah, for some reason, the name of the artist of this book, for some reason, I have no idea why. Yep. And he's the artist for all these issues, these 5 issues in here, which is kind of odd. So when this book came out, this was roughly, I think it was in 20. Let me take a look here. I'm trying to see if I can. I think it was November 2019 when these issues came out. Okay, this came out from November 2019, and yes, it is a year of the Valentine. And so it's been a while ago. Yes, it has. The storyline is up that's officially wrapped up until March 2020. Yes, the very same month which everything got shut down. Well, that's when it was released. And then, of course, the following story arc didn't happen until 2 months later because DC Comics got shut down for a couple months. Yeah. And I believe that Romita Jr. was the artist for these remaining issues for the House of Kent storyline. Yeah, for some reason, Bendis had to keep him on. Now, you might be thinking, asking, Nick, has Bendis worked with John Romita Jr. prior to this particular run? No. Not that I can think of. Yeah, as far as I can tell, they've never worked here before and I can think of. I mean, the last DC book that John Romita Jr. worked on was All-Star Batman. Yeah, that was the last known official comic he worked on for DC. Prior to this very brief run on the pages of Action Comics. Yes. Actually, no. He did. I had to work on All-Star Batman. He did work on Suicide Squad. He was the original artist for the Silencer for leaving after a few issues. He did a couple issues of toward the end of Tom King's run for Batman. I think after this run wrapped up, I think his most recent work he working on for DC. Oh wait, there was actually one book that he did work on together with Bendis, and that was issue of his Legion Superheroes run. Yeah, for like a few pages. Yeah, that was released in September 2020. This was released after these issues came out. Yes. Now we think of John Romita Jr.'s time at DC Comics. I mean, his last thing he worked on DC was a couple different books. One was Generation Shadow, which is a really good one-shot. I do highly recommend checking this out. It's just damn good. It only came out like a year ago. Yeah, and there's also The Infinite Frontier, #0. Another really good one-shot. Which was basically leading into the events of the Frontier miniseries. That was his most recent work he worked on, was that particular thing. Yep. Yeah. But this, I found this book pretty good. I like the villain stuff in here. Though the only thing kind of pulls down for me is John Romita Jr.'s artwork. I think the only book his artwork worked for was Batman. And it's shocking, though, the fact the guy only worked on one bad book. Yeah. But yeah, this was the first time in several years he worked on Superman. Yep. I'm going to give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Alright, moving on to something really good. We have Vampirella and Red Sonja. This was the start of a very brief team-up ongoing series for these two. Yep. And you're thinking, really? Dynamite team up these two? Had they teamed up before? Prior to this? No. They never. This actually was the first one. They also published the same time as this the Vampirella, Red Sonja, Betty and Veronica series as well. Yes. Now, for the surface one is that somehow Red Sonja has gotten to modern day. Unlike in her brief ongoing series by Amy Chu, which was really good, by the way. This is something else. Where she winds up in a cave, and then Vampirella, when she first meets her, she tries to kill her. because she's in a feral state. And also her face is not looking very good. Then all of a sudden, like, I think a lot of people are like, wow, Red Sonja's hot. And she introduced herself basically as, hi, my name is Vampirella. It's like, that's on the nose. And what's your name? Sonja. You know, that's kind of weird, though, when it comes to Red Sonja. No one calls her Red Sonja. They just call her Sonja. By the way, this book collects the first 6 issues of this ongoing series. Yes, the first 6. Out of, I think it was like 12, 13 issues. The writer is Jordi Bailari. The artwork is done by Drew Moss. The cover art is done by Terry Randall Dodson, which, as you can tell, they do not do the interior. Nope, they don't. You might be thinking, why don't Dodson do interiors anymore? Last interior book they did, I can think of, was when they worked on Brian Wood's run for X-Men. That was the last time I can think of they did it, though they ended up doing the covers after Brian Wood left. But the interior work, no, they stopped doing it for some reason. I'm not really sure why. It's kind of similar with David Finch, where he has a reason why, because he's working on a book. I'm not really sure why the Dodsons don't do it anymore. They say it's probably like less money, less time, just do a cover. Yep. So they work together to, well, they basically have, well, Red Sonja basically sort of be unferalized. And at several points in here, you have both these women completely naked. Yes. No, they don't show the naughty bits. They're basically covered by a towel. And it kind of forms a close partnership between the two of them throughout this book. But it's a very interesting idea to pair up these two. This, but I think both of them have got ongoing series. Yes, 2 separate ones. And we have to team up these 2 wonderful ladies. Now this book is basically called The Day Dark Synchronicities. That's what this first trade is called. And you might be thinking, how much does this trade cost? Look how thick it is. It was only like $20 for this book. Really? 20? Yeah, 20. We'll find this at Barnes Noble. Nope, I've never seen I don't see much for Dynamite stuff at Barnes Noble. I actually saw this at my local comic shop. They actually were selling it, and I really wanted to get it next time I went there, and I got it. But this book was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just a damn good story. Okay, so that's a particular review. Stay tuned for my next review, which is going to be, well, probably a little bit later, a review for another comic corner and some more anime stuff, okay? Next video. Bye.